My best friend, my soulmate, my sister, Britney Haynes, welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Oh, is that what we're on? Oh my God, they didn't tell me I got caller daddy. This is so
I
exciting.
know. I know. Well, I was rooting for you all the way till the end. You were my winner pick. I wanted you to win so bad. So you know that, right?
Thank you. I'm so sorry that I didn't deliver. I hate it for myself, and then I feel equally guilty for everyone who wanted me to win. It has to be like womp womp. I'm sorry
Right.
I ruined your night.
It's okay. It's okay. Why did you vote out Danielle? Because it felt like if there was a tie, then you wouldn't have had to draw rocks. It only would have been Danielle and Ivor drawing rocks, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would have been Danielle and I were drawing raw. I mean, we assume. Actually, no one even really knows, but yes, the assumption is out there. Essentially, what it came down to was that I was trying to vote like a faithful, and in the event that Dolores did flip her vote, I didn't want to be the only person who, in light of all that overwhelming evidence, stood out as the one person who wouldn't vote against Danielle. And whether or not Dolores was really going to flip or not, it was like, I can't be the only one who sat here and was like, I'm going to die on the hill that Ivor is a traitor, because it made absolutely, literally no sense. And I was thinking ahead to self preservation of how am I going to defend this? Like tomorrow, when we come back here and sit in the same chair, how am I going to defend the actions that I have done today? And so I essentially was just trying to do the faithful thing and vote like a faithful. Every other time that you have this standout vote, Sierra not voting for Boston Rob, like when you have one person who refuses to vote for a traitor,
Mm.
and if Danielle loses that coin flip and gets up there and says that she's a traitor, it's going to look really bad on me that I absolutely refuse to vote for her. Whether Dolores flips her vote or she draws the rock, if she's outed as a traitor, that's going to look really bad for me if I refuse to vote for her. And so I basically assumed the position of going forward, knowing what the outcome was going to be, as opposed to trying to scramble with whatever happened to shake out.
Right.
I would prefer to be in the position of controlling that narrative as opposed to leaving it to chance, leaving it to fate, and then trying to grab the wheel at the last second, if that
For
makes
sure.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like you lost a number where like
Yeah.
if you knew Dolores was voting Danielle, like your best case scenario would have been for Ivor to go home, then you would have had more numbers and Danielle as a shield. So do you feel like voting Danielle almost ruined your game?
I don't I don't really think that voting Danielle, whether she went or didn't, I don't necessarily think that it would change the outcome of my game. I don't think that me being a traitor changed the outcome of my game. I think that the guilty by association was always going to kind of take me out, regardless of whether that took me out at 5 or took me out later or whatever. What the contingency is in all of that theory, which I hear you, is
Hmm.
what Dolores will do. And babe, that's crazy for you to try to predict what Dolores is going to do. You know what I mean? Like Dylan
Okay.
very much had influence over Dolores in her ear. Her vote for Ivor was insane. Who knows how she was going to vote the next night? Like she
Mm.
was a wild card that I could not predict.
Got
So
it.
again, for me, it came down to try, instead of trying to predict what's going to happen and instead of trying to play the odds, try to be in the driver's seat,
For
try to
sure.
actually control the way that we're moving, as opposed to like grasping at straws when things happen that are beyond my control.
Right.
Does
I
that make
mean,
sense? Because
yeah.
I do understand the theory, like, oh, a number is so important, a number is so important. Absolutely. And we should have murdered Dylan. Like, let's be real. If we're gonna
Mm.
back this train up, let's back it up to when we got rid of Tom instead of Dylan. But at that
Mhm.
time, we believed that we had Dylan, that Dylan was so loyal to Danielle. You know,
Mm.
she really truly believed that he was the utmost loyal to her.
Yeah.
So really the crux for me was not that everybody got on to Danielle's game. It was that we lost Dylan. To
Yeah.
me, it wasn't losing Dolores. It was losing Dylan. Losing
Yeah.
Dylan cost more than losing individually anybody else.
Right.
Which
I
I mean,
mean,
good
for
on
sure.
Dylan. He sniffed it out. He sniffed it out and he made the right call.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't want him to.
Right. I mean, Dylan just proved that he is extremely smart at the game. I mean, he played a
Yeah.
perfect game, and I think that they should cast more actors, siblings in the future, because I actually think that really helped him. It was a full
Yeah.
circle moment. But I will say that I loved with a passion, you reading him to filth at that round table because
Yeah, thanks.
he is trying to get rid of you and you are a hard ass, bitch ass game player. Like you are not letting that happen. I
Oh
love
my
seeing
God,
you
he
put
was
him in his
so
place.
offended.
I
I was like,
know.
has anybody ever spoken like to you in a
Right.
way that was not like kissing your ass? Like,
Well, I want to
has it,
know, like, what is Dylan Efron's biggest red flag?
what do you mean?
Well, he's perfect, so I want to know what's wrong with him. And I feel like you
Oh,
you
I
got that
know.
out of him in that moment. You really showed that like no one is perfect because he's not used to anyone, people
He
not
is
being obsessed with
not
him.
used to the criticism. He's not used to it. He was not ready for me to give it
Hmm.
back, even though he was coming after me.
Yep, and
Like,
it's your life on the line.
yeah, like it's not like he
Mm-mm.
went after Ivor and then I was like, wait a second, guys,
Hmm.
I think it's no, like you're coming after me. And I
Period.
gave him the opportunity to come after me first because I, thought that would look better. And then I came back after him. Like it was crazy how like defensive he got. And he's a good sport about it
Yeah,
in the real world. He's like, "Oh my
for
God, like
sure.
you had me questioning myself." Like he's super lovable and there are no red flags, but yes, in that moment he was like not ready for some criticism. He was
No,
not ready.
not at all. Okay, last question really quick. Why did you pick Gabby as the seer?
That was so difficult for me to arrive to. I spent forever standing in that room and analyzing every which way. If I
Hmm.
take this person, again, you're trying to predict people's behavior and it's so difficult to do. At the end, it's impossible to do if you're me. At the end of the day, the seer power was nothing but bad for me. All it did was take a potential target out of the running for me and exonerate a perfect faithful for
Hmm.
everybody to leech onto. It was nothing but bad news. But my other option was to not win it and then also have to hope that no one brought me in and burned my game to the ground. So again, I took the position of control as opposed to the backseat, let the chips fall as a calculated risk.
Hmm.
However, I arrived at Gabby because I didn't think Dolores would ever vote against Gabby. Like, I never thought that I would really actually be able to get the votes against her. And I also was hoping that it would buy me some loyalty with her. I thought,
Hmm.
like, if I exonerate, because I knew whoever I brought in, I was going to exonerate. I wasn't going to do the whole, like, you're a traitor at breakfast because that
Yeah.
you you're going to take someone out with you but you're still going down, like there
Hmm.
was just no point in it to me. So I knew I was going to be exonerating somebody, and I thought if I exonerate Gabby, because like I did speak against her at the round table, it makes the most sense. Like if I had to argue why I chose her, it makes the most sense because I spoke out about her at a round table. And
Hmm.
also, if I exonerate her, maybe that'll be meaningful to her and she will vote with me when I need her to vote with me. And so really
Absolutely.
like that was the strategy behind it. But overall, the Seer thing was just bad news. It was just not
Right.
good. It was just not a great idea.
For sure. Well, I was rooting for you so hard. I love to see the Traitors win, but at the end of the day, it was
I
a poetic
know.
ending. The Faithfuls won. We all love them. So sweet. And I really loved your voting out Danielle again. I thought that was iconic to vote her out twice. So you really did that.
Okay, well, thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Brittany. We'll see. We'll chat soon. Bye.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.